Okay, we're going to Lobo Den Podcast today. We have Todd Glover, who was in the original Lobo Den episode 1, possibly 2, back in Cigars and Stripes, so where I saw Sharky perform. So we do talk about some comedy, old school comedy, different sexualities, asexual, aroma sexual. There was a few different sexuals we looked up. Swingers party, big, giant swinger party cocks. Comedy, was there something else? It was like 1 or 2 more things, right?
We talked about sexuality and porn stars.
And porn stars that quit porn to do Christianity and then came back to porn. Okay, Lobo Den. Okay, welcome to the Lobo Den Podcast. I'm your host, Giovanni Diaz. To my left is Justin Smith, Common Lick Studios, and across from me is a good friend who was actually on the original first few episodes, maybe 1 and 2 of the Lobo Den. You don't even remember Todd Glover?
It was one of the original ones at Cigars and Stripes.
At Cigars and Stripes.
We were filming it in back with maybe comics on stage. We were just goofing around, I was goofing around. I just jumped in.
It was basically Eric was trying to push me to do the podcast, and he was like, he did on his equipment, so he has a podcast, Busting Balls. So it was like basically a Busting Balls kind of Lobo Den. Right. He's like, let's just record it. Started. I wasn't ready. He's like, just start it. Just record your first episode. So we just did it there, and the second one, and then my real. I'll say real quick. My first Lobo Den I did by myself. Yeah. That was like a Lobo Den was actually at that Kedzie Inn that just shut down. Oh, the Kedzie Inn, yeah. It just shut down for some reason.
They closed it. It's hard to own a bar.
It's hard to own stuff in certain cities run by certain people. But anyways, that sounded racist. It didn't mean to be racist. It was supposed to be like a light political jab.
Like a jab at Lori Lightfoot?
Oh, God. Jab, maybe a right hook. Uppercut to give her, maybe a takedown and ground and pound at Lori Lightfoot. But Oscar Carvajal, who I'm doing the roast battle against the 23rd, and who he visited us. He did the podcast here, right? And he drank a little bit, right? He was having fun around.
I assume that he was having fun since about noon.
Was it over the summer? I think he had a little streak over the summer where he was.
He gets completely blitzed, day drinking, and then he goes to Mexico. But then he takes does a dry January or something like that.
I hate those people.
And then he just.
I'm not drinking all of January.
Yeah, because to make up for
right for 1 month. The worst part about doing that, I've done that where I went to.
Todd's a comedian, blah blah blah. Chicago, Jewish. Okay, continue.
Yeah, thanks.
That was your intro.
That's my intro. Blah blah blah. He tells jokes.
Drunks.
So I went to the doctor and he's like, "You have a fatty liver. You can't drink." So I quit drinking for about 2-3 months. And I think I just had acid reflux really bad. This is back when the Cubs and the Blackhawks were both good. So we would just drink and go to playoff games and watch all this stuff. And we were just drinking so much. And
but you're beer?
Beer.
Or
yeah,
real
it was beer.
Alcohol?
No, it was just beer. And the beer, I'm probably allergic to wheat, but it's just killing me. The acid reflux was just
beer.
So
I can't
bad.
handle beer. I cannot do beer.
I can drink a lot of beer.
It destroys me. So I drink this thing called whiskey. This is called Johnny Walker Black Label. I don't know. Justin, are you a whiskey guy? Or are you a vodka guy? Tequila, peppermint schnapps? What are you? Beer?
I do beer. I do wine. I do vodka. That's the 3 things I drink.
So you are, your origin is an Eastern European. What were you guys saying? The word?
Oh, we're Ashkenazi.
You're an Ashkenazi.
Right. So we are of European descent. So it was basically Russia and Poland where all the Jews were, and then probably started World War I. People don't like Jews. I mean, they don't.
I hate that.
They just
I
don't.
fucking hate that.
Dude. And it's old school, whatever.
It's so annoying to me. I'll tell you this. I saw a Facebook post today, and I was like, hey, what is this guy? And then there was a picture, and it was like the note, and I was like, this is what happens. I don't talk politics on the podcast, but I'll say this. I think me and somebody are like, oh shit, we kind of agree on things. We kind of agree. Right. And then they go anti-Semitic. Always, dude. Yeah. Fucking always. And I'm like, oh shit, I like free markets. I like this.
Right.
Then it's like, but the Jews, it's like, come on, really? Every fucking time, dude. Why? Because you're not around. I grew up around Jews. I work for Jews. I like Jews.
You might be more Jewish than I am. You guys were talking before the show, and you were saying that you lived in Highland Park for a while.
Highwood.
That's
where they put the Mexicans. Highland Park were right here.
Here's the funny part is that I spent 16 years in Humboldt Park. And my neighbors were Mexican. Right. Mexican, that's my joke. Yeah, my neighbor here was Puerto Rican. The other was Mexican. So I always do that joke where my neighbor Pepe would come over and tell me I'm Mexican because he duct taped my mirror back on my car. And we would stand outside.
Is that true about the mirror?
Yeah. It broke off.
That's true. I had a Ford Focus.
Yeah.
Mirror fucked up. There was another Mexican dude I worked with at the Jewish Country Club. Ford Focus, mirror fucked up. I go half Mexican mirror. It's like, what is Mexicans in the mirror? I
don't know what they just duct tape stuff, I guess. But I think everybody duct tapes stuff, right? Cars are made so shitty today. They're so shitty.
I thought they were better.
The plastic bumper. My bumper is. So my neighbor. One of my neighbors works on cars, so I went over to him and I'm like, "Hey, can you fix this?"
Hey, Pablo, fix my car.
He hit it like with his back of his fist. He Fonzied my car back together, and then he's like, "How would you say A in Spanish?" His English is horrible, and my Spanish is even worse. So the two of us, we
¿Puedes
talk.
hablar español? ¿Me entiendes o no? Si te hablo español. Poco.
Very poco. Like the more I drink, the more Spanish I speak, and the more I dance. That's a fact.
¿Qué tipo de mujer te gusta?
Something about a woman.
What kind of women do you like? Well,
all of them.
All of them.
I like mostly,
but
I've been all over the board.
All over, but women who like you. Are you? You're in a relationship now, right?
Right.
Probably, but before
divorce moms that like me.
See, I liked it when I was a little bit younger, so it was like single moms. I was in Waukegan, so they're all single moms. They're all like
at 22, they're single moms in Waukegan.
No, that's legit. That's it's 22. Like certain communities, time to go to college. Time to get pregnant by a gangbanger who's going to be in and out of my son's life, and I'm going to post about him on Facebook. How did I get stuck with such a shitty baby daddy?
Right.
You let him come in you. Evelyn, my sister.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Well, she's one of them. She grew up in Waukegan, single mom.
Yeah.
Like, goes with the territory. You were telling me about...
There's three types of women that like me. I always tell people this. I go, there's three types of
comics.
Here's who likes me. Ready? Jewish women like me.
Yeah.
I'm a Jewish guy.
I love Jewish.
European women like me. Like on those dating apps.
The Polacks?
Yeah. I'll support. Yeah,
right. Russians, whatever. More Slavic European, right?
All of them. They just European women because some guys don't like it with the accent and the hard to deal with. I
do not like.
You don't like? I like.
I don't like.
I like. And then girls who have comedian fetishes. So every girl who wants to be a comic or likes comedians wants to go out with me. That's it.
But not you don't dabble with comics. Right? I never did.
No,
I don't.
It's too late for me now. I'm too old. I was telling you guys that these 24-year-old comics smart off to me, and I have to take it because they're like, whatever, old man, and I'm just like,
who cares?
I know, but I can't fight back. And as a comic, the first thing you're gonna do is rip them to shreds, and it's like, stand down, just stand down, and
they'll learn.
Comics didn't do that back when I started. They didn't, everybody respected each other, and now it's all like,
well, they grew up. They grew up. It's entitled. It's a different generation. They're on their laptops. You know what I mean? And
they grew up on iPads. They grew up. We when I grew up, we had.
Back in my day,
we had 6 stations on the TV, and we watched reruns of The Brady Bunch. And
we had VHS porns.
Voluptuous.
I'm still looking for that. It was called Voluptuous. I Google it sometimes. It was some thick women on it.
I probably find it on YouTube for you.
I looked for it. It's been a few years, but like...
I used to have 2 VCRs, and I would rent the tapes and then record them.
Got them at Sam's Club.
And I put like Todd's greatest hits on it, and my buddy would come over and borrow them.
It's disgusting.
He loved it, and now, geez, I couldn't even imagine growing up with all that porn available on your cell phone, on your laptop. I would never leave. I would be like in high school exhausted. Someone told me for a while kids were having trouble having sex and getting erections because they were watching.
I heard that happened to Bobby Lee. There was a lot of porn addiction in the church.
Oh.
There's like in certain churches, they were like that are really strict.
Yeah.
I have a friend who used to be part of a church, very strict. A lot of the dudes in the church had porn addiction problems.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't want to, they do not have sex with wife because they're just addicted to porn. So I limit myself.
Yeah.
to watching that stuff and pleasuring myself, maybe to like once a day. Like sometimes
once a day. Did you say you would limit yourself to once a day?
Yeah, because it's like when I get home, probably gonna have sex, so I don't want to like splooge out. You know what I mean? I want to have enough.
Good for you, man.
In the tank. But there's some days it's like, all right, we had sex in the morning before work. By the time she gets off, blah blah blah. And,
that's healthy.
And
dude.
My stepson's gonna be there. We're probably not gonna do it. Let's do one more at work. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Let's do 2.
Good for you.
You know what I mean?
Look at you, dude.
But the max is 2. Is where
every day to it.
To a self. I don't want to sound
no. Could you have sex?
Oh no, that I'm not just talking about. I don't want to say. Can we use a different word for the M word? I don't like using.
Oh, you don't?
Masturbating or jerking off. Can we? Is there a better euphemism we can use that isn't so disgusting?
Pleasuring yourself.
It's not something like women would do. I don't feel. All right, pleasuring yourself. PY. Yeah. Okay, pleasuring myself.
I don't even know why we're talking about this, but you can do it twice a day. For how many days in a row?
I think I usually do it every day, twice a day.
Still?
Or once. You know what I mean? I come a lot. I'm a comer. You know what I mean? Like, so like, okay, let's see. Yesterday or today, we had sex in the morning.
Yeah.
I had to pull out because she's ovulating today. So today's 34% chance of her getting pregnant on my Femmometer app. So on Femmometer, I don't use birth control. I just follow the app and I don't go inside on the red days, which are the higher. Today's the highest day, so I don't. Birth control is bad for you, boy.
You're going to end up with another baby. Yeah. Like, what are the long-term effects of birth control? I don't know.
Fucking kids that fucking talk shit to you at a fucking open mic. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So then when I wait a few days, so I'm out of the zone. Like, I'm not going to go tomorrow. I wait when I'm in the gray, and then I go back in.
You should just do anal that days.
I do, but sometimes it's like I just blah blah blah. It's blah, dirty, blah, blah. This and that.
It's dirty.
You know what I mean? We have a kid, so then and sometimes he's in the area. So then I do that. So it was that, and it was one at work, and I was like, all right, allegedly, in the bathroom at work, allegedly, and I stopped just in case, because my stepson's at home. So when I get home, there could be another one. So I stopped it to 1. If it was a different, sometimes I'll be like, we didn't have sex. Maybe I'll go 2, but I try not to go too much because then I don't want to empty my tank.
Good for you.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you have a system? Like I have it now because sometimes I was like, I forgot, and I go too many at work, and it's like, ooh, shouldn't have done that.
I joked as soon as the lockdown happened in the pandemic. The first thing I did was join a porn site. I'm like, it was a rough. I didn't do well.
I joined one during Lent.
The during Lent.
No, you do. I'll tell you afterwards what happened.
No, but that like I knew that was going to be a rough time, and those were some pretty bad.
So you preempt it, right?
I'm like, I'm going to spend a lot of time by myself. I mean, you know, minus when we started doing the outdoor comedy shows, that saved me. I mean, otherwise I would have went nuts during my best friend.
Those are fun shows.
Those were all. I still get a lot of requests, and I have speakers, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to bring these downstairs and tell jokes, you know. But yeah, the pandemic was just brutal, and you know.
No, what happened with me is, I consider myself Catholic.
Okay.
I was born Catholic. I'm gonna fuck. I think Joey Diaz, you're born Catholic, you die Catholic. I got this mentality in my head like 2 years ago because I'm stupid. So I'm Catholic. I'm agnostic Catholic. I don't really believe, but fuck it, I'm Catholic. Right? So I still do Lent. I've always did Lent. Even when I had a year or two in my 20s when I was an atheist, right? And during those years, I still did Lent because it's like, it was important to me to give something up for 40 days, discipline, something. I forgot what I told myself in my head, why I'm going to do this. But one Lent, I gave up, I think, masturbating or pleasuring myself, right? And then it was like, so I went like, it was like 40 days and it was like midnight before Easter. And I was like, okay, I can finally motherfucking do this. So like just going to one of the free sites wasn't enough. So I went to, I forgot if it was Bang Bros or one of them. And I went to the, you know, they give you the advertising. Here's a 3-day free trial. And you go to, it's not really a fucking free trial.
Right.
It's bullshit. They make, you got to pay for the 30-day thing or do it. So then I was like, it was late at night and I was like, it's been 40 days. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, oh, you know what? Remember I allegedly used to have sex with hookers?
Yeah.
I was messaging. I couldn't get a hooker. So I was like, next best thing, I'm just going to get good fucking paid porn. I don't want this free garbage.
Right.
I want this chicks and the high quality. So I went, I paid, pull out my credit card and then finished. And then I was like, fuck, I got this for 30 days. Like I do.
Right.
So I took advantage.
You always have buyer's remorse after you sign up, and I think they gave you like a whole year for $69. I'm like, okay, and by the end, you're like, oh god, I can't watch any more of this shit.
You can't. It's like I'm paying for it. Have you ever paid for pornography? No. I don't think it's Justin's paid for it.
No. People are like, you pay? I'm like, well, if you want some of the good stuff, or you want the downloadable clips. Someone told me there's.
Get what you pay for.
There's some. It's so weird because like some of these porn stars, they pop up, they do this amazing work, and then they're just gone. And then it's like, well, where are they?
Rehab.
Are they just tucked away somewhere, like walking around doing? And it's
well,
like,
there's that one who found Christ. I remember her. She's
back doing porn again.
There's like, is she?
That's
she had dark hair. She's either from Arizona or Florida.
Yeah, she's half Latina.
I don't know. You got a name? Because I'm thinking of a different one who's white. She had dark hair. She was white. And
yeah, I think she's half Latina though.
She might have been. She was like, I saw her doing ministries and stuff.
She's well, there was a blonde lady who converted her, and then she was on like that it was like a movie, something to porn or something, out of life after porn, and that's where I saw her. I forget her name.
Can you Google born again?
I think it's
porn
in
star?
life after porn. I think it's called, and she's in it. That's the one I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah. We'll see the dark haired one.
Yeah, she's
Emily Deschanel.
No.
Is she the one? She was in Bones. Did you know that?
I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of stuff on my laptop.
I watch things on my phone. Life after porn. Go back
right there. No, it's called Life After Porn. It's a documentary.
What was her name? Or Born Again Christian Porn, or Porn Star Born Again Christian.
You maybe need to separate the.
No, there's the blonde one. I don't know her.
After Porn Ends, there you go. It's
okay. It's not Asia Carrera.
No, not Mary Carey. I never liked her.
Okay, and it's not Asia Carrera. It's not Nina Hartley. It's not Mary Carey. Randy. These are all the old school ones.
Is
Seika.
I think it's like when Porn Ends, the second one, the sequel. Here,
Janine, she was on the Blink-182 cover. Ginger Lynn was the older one. Lisa Ann played the presidential candidate. What was her name? Again, she ran with, she was from Alaska.
Which one?
She played her. Lisa Ann played her.
Lisa Ann's still doing it.
Tara Practic would only sleep with her husband or boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Jenna Presley. Oh, Bonnie Rotten. Oh,
Bonnie Rotten does that.
Could have Jenna
stuff.
Presley. Maybe it was Jenna Presley.
No.
Well, let me see. Oh, I think it was her. Click on her.
No.
Jenna Presley, like this is your personal life during her time. Oh, look, during her time in adult fitness, Presley used crystal meth, heroin, and cocaine to try to lose weight, as well as ecstasy. And it was Jenna Presley. That's the one I was talking about. We're talking about different. I remember, dude. I used to be a pervert.
Yeah, I mean, I had. The problem is someone's going to listen to this and be like, "Hey, how's your porn addiction?" I'm like,
I was a pervert, and people know. Well, people know, but there's nothing. I don't fucking hide it.
My problem is I don't do podcasts anymore because I did one. I got in all this trouble, and people are like, "Oh, we didn't know that about you."
What did we know about you?
I dated a girl who was a swinger. And then everybody was like, "You were a swinger?" I'm like, "Not really. I mean, we just..."
Did you go to parties?
They were so lame. All of it was so lame. It wasn't...
Did you see, like, a guy's ass?
I've seen some crazy stuff.
What did you see? What's the crazy stuff? What's crazy?
The craziest thing I saw was there was this big orgy room. How did it smell? I just remember like the craziest things ever going on in this room, and this is why I got in trouble.
Did you go in the room?
We found a little corner, me and my girlfriend at the time, and we were just having sex with each other in there. We were part of the show. I was younger. I was in shape. I mean, this is like a long time ago, but then people are like, "Oh, I didn't know that about you. Oh, I don't like you anymore." But the people next to us were like, probably at the time in their 40s or something. And these women had these giant breasts, and these guys were donkey, like the biggest penises I've ever seen, and they're all going at it. And then there was this couple that I had knew from Riddles. And I had
Riddles
seen
kind of
them.
an Alsip, right?
Right? Yeah. This was when it was the big Riddles. And they're like, we know you. Aren't you friends with our son? And I'm like...
This is during their talking?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the thing I saw was they were in the room, and then this big guy came with like an eye patch, and he was wearing like a Napoleon Kaufman jersey.
What's Napoleon Kaufman?
He's a football player. It was it was just the goofiest thing because he was like trying to like get on this other guy's wife, and she didn't want to, so she ran out. And then I see this guy, and he's like fluffing himself, trying to have sex with his wife while she's going down on the guy. And it was like,
it's too much.
It's so much going on. And then I look over, and there's a lady who literally looks like out of place. Like she looks like she's in her 50s. She looks like a cleaning lady, and she's fully jacketed and just watching everything going on. And you're like,
Latina?
Okay.
Polish or Polish?
No, she just looked like so out of place. Like
looked like a clean. It wasn't actually clean.
Right, no.
I'm sorry.
But and then it was. I'm leaving out a lot of details here. Don't want to get in trouble. But when it was all said and done, it was like, okay, we need to go home. I can't. It was just crazy. But like when you're young, you do stuff like that. Now I'm like, who cares?
Have you guys heard of this place called The Rose? It's in Chicago. So I had this chick on here.
Yeah.
And she was an OnlyFans chick. And then after that, I think a bunch of people that followed her started following me, I think on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Right? She would put her stuff on. And some of the guys threw me in some group called Whore Chat.
Oh, God.
And then I think they're all these sex positive people. It's what I've kind of gauged from the group. And they go to a place called The Rose in Chicago. Okay. And I don't know if it's a place where people, like I get invited to events and they like ask me, and there's sometimes videos of people in there like having sex with each other, and I see it, but it's like, and there's a guy in there who does, I guess dungeons are a thing or something like that, but they're in the community because they thought it was sex positive, which I don't consider myself any of that.
It's just, it's too much. I mean, like on the dating site now, you can pick your gender, and they have 20 or 30 different genders.
Which ones do you pick? Really?
Yeah, you could be, straight, cis male, like all this stuff. Like I don't
Pandemic?
Even know. Pansexual. You can be
what's demisexual?
Demisexual. There's so many of them. I don't even know what they are. I actually was going to do a joke about them and just start rattling them all off.
Just, you know what a demisexual is? Can you look up demisexual? Because I've seen demisexual, and they've usually been like bigger Wiccan-looking women who are demisexual. Demisexual. Let's see what it is. A common general definition of demisexual states that demisexuality is a sexual orientation in which a person feels sexually attracted to someone only after they've developed a close, strong emotional bond with them.
So like straight.
Right.
So you like somebody, so you have sex with them?
How about just normal?
That's its own thing. Yeah. How is that they have their own flag. They have the demisexual flag. The type of attraction is based on...
Looks like another flag.
So it's you sleep with people because you like
them? I usually sleep with them because I like them. Anyway, I guess
I'm
demisexual.
You're a demisexual?
So I remember when cisgender came out, I had to look it up. I'm like, what does cis mean?
Dude, pansexual. That's when you fuck anybody. I think I know this one. Sexually romantically attracted people regardless of their sex or gender. I needed to explore the possibility that maybe I was pansexual. Oh, look, I like this noun. The bodybuilder identifies as pansexual. The bodybuilder. So that's like, you'll fuck anybody. Oh, there's your flag. It kind of looks like that ice cream, right?
Yeah, Neapolitan ice cream.
Yeah, like Neapolitan, but the blue, or maybe one of those pops.
Neapolitan.
I know that because, what's his name? There was a quote with Albert Einstein that said, "Some would pan. It means everything."
Yeah.
So then
it's inclusive. Yeah, it's great. There was
polysexual. Let's see. Polysexual is a polysexual is someone who is sexually or romantically attracted to multiple genders. It's not the same as being bisexual, but it's different than.
Now you're just making stuff up, right?
Wait, what's the difference between polysexual and what's the one we just said pansexual? Multiple genders. It's not the same as being bisexual. Polysexuality. What the fuck's fandom? Is that like Reddit? I don't know how Reddit works. Okay,
This is poly.
look at popular pages. This kind of looks like Germany.
Here you go.
with
Atomic.
Argentina.
Yeah, right? What, like all these different sexualities are going to fight, and they're going to have their flag when they go to the war.
So
maybe they go to the orgy and they have their flags up so they know which.
Let's see. Let's look at omnisexual. Is a sexual attraction to people of all sexes, wherein gender plays a role in one's what? Wait.
I'm out.
Hold on. Omnisexuality is a sexual attraction to people of all sexes and gender identities, wherein gender plays a role in one's attraction. Oh, man, I need a lawyer for this. This could be a preference or a Okay, so you might have a preference. You're into everything, but you might have a preference to dudes or chicks. Okay, I think I get it. What's sapphic? Sapphic. Sapphic is someone known as a woman-loving woman. So is that a lesbian? Or refers to a woman or woman-aligned person of any sexual orientation who is attracted to other women or woman-aligned individuals. Another definition, specific, inclusive of non-binary people. It's an umbrella term for many identities, what's aromantic? Because this looks like Germany and Argentina a little bit, right? Look at the flag.
Maybe these are just soccer teams.
Aromantic sexual, also known as the abbreviation of aros, means people are both aromantic and asexual. A term for specific identities. Aromantic means someone who does not experience romantic attraction, and asexual means someone who does not experience sexual attraction. However, some people who experience little to no romantic or sexual attraction describe themselves as... So you grew up Jewish, right? So
we never finished the drinking story. The whole point of the drinking story,
oh my God,
is if you stop drinking for 3 months and then you go out and you drink, you throw up because your body can't handle it.
Oh, that happened.
Alcohol's a poison.
Yeah, that happened to me. So you stopped drinking because you thought you had a fatty liver,
right?
So you
I
don't.
was fine.
Right?
No, I'm fine.
You went back to the doctor.
I had acid reflux, which I took the medication for a while, and now I just don't drink every day. I drink every other day. I try to be cognizant.
You know
of
a lot
what I'm
about
drinking.
wine, don't you?
I used to sell wine. Yeah, so I'll go and people will be like, "Oh, I love this Maomi." I'm like, "It's trash. It's a brand. They're selling you brands. Most of the wine is made by 5 or 6 big companies, and then they just sell each other the wine.
Big wine.
The big wine. Yeah, we got to take down big wine. Then we got to take down big pharma. Then we got to take down agriculture. It's the same. Big cocks. Yeah, we should take those down
at the swinger party.
At the swinger. It's just funny.
No fluids hit you or anything, right? You were far enough away.
Yeah.
Nothing brushed against you.
The thing about these guys is you would never know. It would look like a dude that you worked with who you made fun of behind his back. And on the weekend, he's just letting his huge cock swing out at a swinger party. And you're like, how does that guy run? Where does he put all that dick in his pants? There was a
special underwear.
I saw a comic who had like a recording. And he was wearing those new pants. I don't know if you've seen those.
Joggers?
They're like these new pants that like fit you. So, you know, when jeans, they get baggy in the ass, they make these new pants. And the whole time he's up on stage, he's a taller guy. All you see is his giant ball sack on the bottom of his pants. I'm trying to watch his comedy. It's big ball comedy, I guess.
Big balls neff. When I was in high school, we had a coach.
Yeah.
In our history, his nickname was Big Balls Neff because he had these big balls you can see. So that was Big Balls Neff.
Some people just have giant balls.
Yeah. Do your balls? Should I go get checked out? My balls have been hurting. Are they getting bigger? Do they start getting bigger?
Saggy? No, mine have stayed the same. I just get a little, I get a little pain in them sometimes. But
what is that? Should I go to the doctor? Like the last weeks, I was like, is it
a little painful?
Did I fall? Did I sit wrong?
I do that? I sit wrong. I've been riding an exercise bike. That doesn't help. I do the elliptical, which is the worst because your balls are like getting scissored by your own legs. You're like crush, 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 crush. I mean, I feel good and I feel, and I stretch out. And then I'm like, I think I crushed my balls on the elliptical today.
You died, you were saying, recently. Is that a recent show?
So I did 2 back-to-back shows, and it's been snowing in Chicago.
With Jay Harris.
I did a show with Crazy Jay.
Oh, you did?
I did a show with Crazy. But the best part about Jay is he's like, you get there early because we're going to eat. Like, he has to negotiate everything up front. And I go, what should I get to eat?
Have you never met Jay? Oh, he's something else.
He's a character. He's a character.
Yeah.
So he goes and he's like... get a steak. I negotiate. We can eat whatever we want. So I get the steak, and the steak was cooked perfectly. His was raw. He had to send it back, and then they had literally like powdered mashed potatoes. And then he's like, I already warned him that you drink a lot of Miller Lite. So I was slugging down Miller Lights, and the show was sold out. And he went up and he did like 2 minutes and introduced me, and I just tore up the room, just crushed it. And after the show, he's like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to bring the heat like that. I'm like, you gave me parameters. Like, don't be too gross. Don't be too this. I did exactly what you did, and I brought the heat because that's what he told me to do. And he's like, you could do 23 minutes. I did 24 minutes, and it was great. And people don't know because he's a road guy, and he knows how to do those long sets, and they loved him. They had a good time. Everyone had fun.
Give me a guess spot at a Jay. I just want to see him. I've never seen him outside of Mike or one of these shows.
So I told him, I'm like,
I just want to see him.
I go, look, you got to start filming this. So he's like, okay, my next show, you bring the film guy. We'll get some tape done. And I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to do another show with him next month, and we're going to bring a camera guy. You like, as a comic, everyone's like, well, why don't you have all these clips and you don't do this crowd work? I'm like, I'm the crowd. I do a ton of crowd work, and they didn't want you doing crowd work. They wanted you doing jokes. Now everyone wants these crowd work clips because they see all these comics doing crowd work or getting a beer thrown at their head. That girl, you know the clip I'm talking about, the girl get a high noon thrown at her head.
No, this recent? This happened? Where was it at?
This is Spokane? Over the summer. No, this is in Jersey, right? She's a Jewish girl, which she booked herself to go to like racist Jersey, which I don't know if I'd take that gig, but people don't always know I'm Jewish.
Do you know her name or no?
What?
Do you know her name?
I'll have to send it to you. I don't know, but it's very popular. We could Google girl getting beer thrown at her head. Jewish
comic
girl.
Jersey.
And she said something about Trump, and they threw a drink at her. She picks it up and just slugs it down, and she was on the Tonight Show the next week. Like, went viral. And that's the thing comics don't realize is, I could go into Indiana, and they are just Trump City, Republicans. And then I could go to another part of Indiana, and they're completely liberal. It's, same in Illinois, right? I go to the suburbs, and they're kind of moderates there. They might vote Democrat or Republican depending on, and they're more conservative when it comes to money. So, you don't want to do too much. The alternative rooms, you can do whatever you want. But, so we had a good time. And I don't get political on stage, but on the way home, on the way there, it snowed.
Where's this at?
We went to Normal. So he called me. He's like, you went to ISU?
Illinois?
Yeah. So I went to ISU. So I'm like, yeah, we'll go down there. So I'm driving and a semi pulls up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And the car kind of locked up. The anti-lock brake thing comes on. It's like, I'm like, I'm going to die. I didn't. The way home there was an area that merged and there's just a giant cement thing. So I almost died there. But then this weekend I went and I performed at a bowling alley in Peru, Illinois. It's called the Super Bowl. I've been performing there probably for 14.
Where the fuck is Peru?
It's just down by Morris. It's off of like 80.
Okay, Morris. I know Morris Country Club moved over. They got bought by another. That's golf related. But.
Yeah, but it's like you take 55 to like 80 or something. And I've been performing there probably for 14 years. And the way there was a bad accident. So we saw like a wheel. The guy jumped out with a dog. I'm like, I go, why does he have a dog? Oh, because he's sniffing for bodies. I go, not good. So on the way home.
Oh, shit.
So you get there and you're like, okay, go be funny. Go. You just saw a horrific accident. No, go be funny, Todd. Okay. So I went up there. The guy in the front row looked like a serial killer. Like I literally I don't know. Should I be checking my phone for time or should I be calling America's Most Wanted and be like, I got this guy. I got this guy. He's here at the show in the front row. So I stopped looking at him and then looked out to the audience and then I was fine because I was like, this guy's creeping me out. And then on the way home, they had that snow that was coming into the windshield. I couldn't see shit. And I'm like, okay, if I die coming home from a bowling alley, they're going to name a name. They're going to name a lane after me. Like, oh, it's the Todd Glover Memorial Lane. He's the comic who died.
Did you ever do Highwood Lanes with Larry back when he first started?
Was Ricky March? No, I did.
I don't know.
I did some show with Ricky March before I even knew him. Like
Jewish.
One of my people.
North Shore. Yeah. Of your people.
So anyway, so we did that. But that was so long
Me and
ago.
Ricky did a show. It was a Marcos Laura show. It was at a cigar. It was Marco's, but it was not in Rockford. It was like between me and him. So it was like kind of not Fox Lake, but that way. So it was. I had to go west, maybe McHenry or something like that.
Yeah.
It was at the cigar place, and it was in the basement of the cigar room. So it was me. The comics were me, Ricky March, Marcos, Patrick Tomlinson, who has me blocked on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't even know.
He was like a sci-fi writer. He's from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Ken Steele actually just messaged me. You know, Ken used to do porn. He does porn now in LA, but he used to do comedy. Black dude. He had the All the Way 100 show. I think we pulled up some of his porn on the podcast. Justin.
Really?
Yeah.
That dude? He was like kind of he's a racist dude?
Yeah, he did.
Like a Republican?
No. Ken Steele, black, like everything is white supremacy. You don't remember he used to get fights on Facebook? I don't know if you knew Ken. Ken Steezy or something.
He does porn now?
Yeah, he does porn.
Good for him.
I forgot his porn name. I don't know. We looked it up with maybe Khalil Wilson. We looked up his porn name. But yeah, he used to have I did a show, but anyways. Patrick Tomlinson. This is all in the basement.
What's his name?
Ken Steele or Ken
Steele.
Steezy. Look, he just messaged me. This guy, he's sick.
I'm
he's
not friends with him.
Patrick. Oh, okay. Oh, look, this Ken. You remember Ken? You remember Ken Steele?
I need a better picture.
He's messaging me right now about this Rick Thomas. So Patrick Tomlinson was from Milwaukee. He actually got blocked by Ben Shapiro on. Ben Shapiro brought him up on his podcast.
Really?
Who's Jewish, but an Orthodox Jew who's only had sex with his wife and who is.
Yeah, I remember this dude.
I don't know if you guys know Shapiro, but Shapiro has some chick on his platform.
Yeah.
Can you look up Ben Shapiro lookalike? She looks like Ben Shapiro.
Oh, that's
have you
hilarious.
seen her?
No.
So I thought it was his daughter or sister or something like that because I got into a fight with Jessica over Ben Shapiro's sister before because
that seems like a good use of your time.
Well, she saw a clip I put up with what's his name, Bill Giverts. He's Jewish. Is Bill Giverts? He's Jewish.
I don't. I had him on someone's like, can he do a guest set?
Her, that chick. So look at it. That she's on the Daily Wire network and she looks like him. And I thought it was like his sister, but it's some chick that he hired that just looks like her, which is crazy to me in a weird sexual way. Isn't that weird? No, a little bit.
She kind of looks like him, yeah. In that picture, she does.
She looks like Ben Shapiro. But anyways,
yeah. Look at his high school picture.
He looks like Ben Shapiro would look in high school. Young Republican.
It's like sometimes he's like super smart. You know,
that's the sister. That's the one I got.
Oh, that's the sister.
She got popular because there's a picture of big boobs or something like that. Oh. And then I forgot what I brought up Ben Shapiro for. Anyway, Oscar Carvajal.
It's like doing a podcast with ADD.
Allegedly, I have ADD.
You have ADD.
So you drove and you got in some car accidents.
So you missed the whole punchline of the joke is that if I died on the way home, that they were going to literally name a lane after me, or they're going to be like, oh, don't forget to get your shoe rentals at the Todd Glover Memorial Shoe Rental, or they're going to have a special on nachos or something horrible like that. Like, every time I do a gig on the road, I'm like, I could die. This is not going to be good. And I don't like when comics die because everybody posts on their
They OD, don't they? What's the last comic that died that didn't OD?
Patrick Bagdon.
Oh yeah, he had cancer.
Yeah, cancer. Wait, yeah.
Or fucking what's her name? Vicky Lynn. She had
Vicky Lynn had cancer. Yeah, both.
Now I feel like garbage.
Both, people we know and people we did shows with, and it's awful. And what a horrible way to fucking go. Watch the guy just deteriorate over 2 years, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, he wasn't all there at the end, was he? A little bit. Like he became born again, and then he tried to convert everybody.
But he also had a tumor on his head, his brain. So you have something.
Makes sense.
You have something pushing on your brain. So I was really good friends with him for a long time, and then he, every time I talked to him, he tried to convert me. So it was like, well, we could just take a break, like we can. And he just recently passed away,
like last week.
Yeah.
And you know who else just passed away?
Who?
So I just had Sean Bear Flannery on the podcast. We were talking about, remember, I think it was Patrick Flanagan. He was the Old Town Clowns guy. Remember him, the clown?
I saw he posted
last week,
but I didn't.
And it's crazy because I was talking to Sean about it. I was like, oh shit, let me get Patrick on the podcast. I haven't seen him in a while. One of my first shows I ever did. He paid me very well for this crazy show with him and
for horrible comedy. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, did you do that show?
I didn't.
It was so bad.
I know him from the old days, like when I stopped doing stand-up for a couple of years, then he came along. So he's still popular with all the old-time comics.
Yeah.
But I won't interact with him much.
Did you do shows with, were you, when the old days, was Sharky doing Sharky?
So
Do you know Sharky?
so I told Sharky was at my open mic last night.
Oh, he is.
He was over at the Emerald Isle.
Did you ever see Sharky before he did the character and he was just doing stand-up, or was it just Sharky?
He was always Sharky. And he was old. He was old.
And you know it. Do you remember the line?
Yeah.
How does it go? Blah, blah, blah. And you know
it's all about me. When you got it, you got it. And you know it.
And you know it.
So I saw Sharky. When I saw Sharky, he must have been.
Can you pull up Sharky? Is he just Sharky on Facebook?
50s. He's Bill Sharky.
Bill Sharky. Maybe go to Facebook and type in Bill Sharky.
Does this come up now when your people?
Or Bill Sharky. Yeah, they'll see.
You got to go to Facebook, though.
Or Bill Sharky. It's no.
It's IE.
I think
it's not going to come up on Google.
Yeah. It'd be on Facebook. It'd be on
Facebook.
I'm not signed in.
Okay.
But so I must have seen Sharky. He must have been 50 when I saw him doing stand up. He was in his 50s doing that character. And me and my buddy were bored, so we went to Riddles and just hung out and watched Sharky. And for weeks we were like, "Cause you got it and you know it." And we were just doing Sharky's lines. He's still funny. Setup punchline is still funny. He killed it open mic. I mean, some of it's a little.
He was at Emerald?
He was at Emerald. He pulled out the panties, the giant panties, and you're like, oh. But the thing with Sharky is you got to get him alone, and he'll tell you all the stories. I'll be like, hey, Sharky, did you meet a lot of women doing stand-up? Oh, yeah, in the 70s, let me tell you. And
he was there for the boom, wasn't he?
He was there in the 70s when they had all the sex and drugs and all that fun stuff.
Let me get Sharky on then. He'll do it.
He's
Jewish.
He's a Jew for Jesus. Jews for Jesus.
No.
Yeah,
when did you lose him?
I don't know. We might have traded him away. We're like, okay, we're going to take Daryl and you can have Sharky. Okay. I'm not very religious. Like, I'm so not into religion, and I watch all these wars.
I'm not religious, but I'm Catholic.
Stuff. But you're Catholic.
Jewish loving Catholic.
Jewish love. You love talking about Jewish people.
I love Jewish people.
It's so funny because, like I was saying, people hate Jewish people. They don't even know why. And then everyone's like, Trump made all these Nazis. I'm like, the Nazis were here. They just weren't talking about it. Now there's social media. Look at these comics that are blowing up on TikTok, and they're getting booked, and they're like, there's a dude that does impressions. Someone booked him, and they're like, he does 7 minutes on TikTok. I don't even know which guy it was, but they're like, he didn't really have much to say for the next 30 minutes.